Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be doing this wall that has the window in it. And let me just explain a little bit about my process for making things. I don't have a drawing and I don't have a plan other than what the dimensions of the room I'm going to be making will be. I think it up in my head and then I let my hands do the work. So here I'm just now gluing down the pieces that are going to be the sides of my window. And if you'll see me several times during the video tipping the piece up, and what I am doing is I am inserting straight sewing pins from one part of the foam core into the part that I'm attaching. I prefer sequin pins, but I can't find them around here, so I'm using straight sewing pins. And when you're doing something like a hollow wall, and I don't want each of my support pieces to be 2 pieces of foam board thick because you're never going to see them again anyway. And by putting the pins in, it holds them in place and also helps to stabilize what you're doing. And what I do is I just put the pin in and I make sure it goes into the foam part of the foam board and not out through the side. So I'm just putting some glue on this piece. This is going to go on the other side of the window. And I'm just making sure I get it lined right up with the edge of my window. Trying to get it upright and straight. The pins also help with that. They help to hold it in a very upright and straight position. And I'm sorry that this video got so long, but I am taking you, so here I'm showing you the pins I'm using, just plain straight sewing pins. But as I was saying, I'm sorry that this video got a little bit long, but I want to take you through my whole process of doing this, and maybe you'll find something in it that will help you out when you're constructing. There are a few changes along the way to what I originally planned, but that's kind of how I craft. It's kind of, if I get an idea while I'm doing something, I put it in. If you hear anything, Mr. Mew has come to join me in here today. I call him my project manager. He's always watching me and watching what I'm doing, and yeah, he's a good one. He doesn't get into trouble. He doesn't get up into things. He's just very, very good. And so I don't mind him being in here at all, and he loves spending time with me. So he's helping us today. Now this piece is going to cause me a lot of problems later on, and I'll explain that. When I put it in, I tried to get it in nice and even, right where I wanted it. Hey, I just said you didn't get in trouble, and now what? Someone is kind of getting into trouble down there. How about if you come up on my lap? There you go. Yeah, this piece ultimately caused me a lot of trouble when I was all finished. I'm putting it in and I'm trying to get it all lined up really good and everything. And I think I've done that. So of course I go ahead, I put the pins in, like I did with everything else. And yeah, I didn't realize my problem. I should have, but I didn't until after I watched the video, after I made it. I watched it again, and yeah. So this little piece here was my problem. So I've got it in there, and I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty good. And I'm turning it around to show you how the boxing of the window is coming out, and also so that I can get that pin in there good. And I don't notice anything at all, and I don't know if at this point you'll notice, but, and I'm not sure it was this point I noticed, but at one point I was watching the video and I'm like, oh, now I know what I did wrong. And so I did have to go back. Yeah, see, and I think this was the point where I realized in rewatching that I made a big boo-boo. And what I did was, and you'll see later on when I put the piece across the top, you'll see that I did not get that in there exactly straight. I didn't have it lined up with the top. As it's upside down, it would be to the right side, and I did not get it lined up straight with that corner over there, so it wasn't against the window and there was a gap. And when I put the piece across the top, I'm just about 1/8 of an inch off, and I can't figure out why. And through the whole build process, I'm looking at it and I'm going, why am I off? And it was because I didn't place that middle strip right up against the window all the way across. So I had to take it out and I had to redo it, and that was a lot of it was a pain. It was bad. So yeah, that was my big screw up that I did eventually catch and I did fix. I don't think you'll see it fixed in this video, but you will in the next. So now I'm just putting on the bottom piece, and it's going to go all the way across, and it's kind of going to give me a one long shelf along that wall, which I think is going to really add to it, because there will be a lot of things you can put up on there and really add to the look of the room we're going for. Mr. Mew is very lovey. He's sitting on my lap, and he's very, very lovey right now. He's a very lovey guy, this guy is. Very lovey. He just had a treat of some canned cat food, and he is a very lovely little guy. So I'm just tipping it up again here and just putting some more pins in. I realize it's not very exciting, probably watching this long of a video where somebody is making something, but I'm really trying to get that side straight, so I'm putting in the pieces that are going to go underneath as supports, and that's when I realized that I didn't cut that one very straight, so I'm just cutting a little bit off. I didn't even notice that it didn't come off when I cut it. So here again in a sec, you'll probably see me cut it again, because I just cut and I didn't see anything come off. So yeah. So now I'm putting it in there, because this one's going to go to that side. I guess that wasn't the one I recut. There was another one where I'd cut it badly and I recut it. I'm not very good at cutting straight. I can measure, I can line things up with a straight edge and everything, and I have problems. And these first pieces of foam core that I were using were really good, but later on I have a really bad looking part of my wall. I mean, it's going to get joint compound or spackle over the top of it, so it's not going to be noticeable, but that piece had so many of those little hard pills in it. Every time I went to make a cut, I was just running into them, and it chunked out the foam board, and it was just obviously a really, really bad piece, or a really bad area of that foam board that I was using. So anyway, this is how it's starting to look, and I'm just making sure everything is lined up good. And now I'm going to be putting in some more supports across the bottom. My walls will be hollow, and this will be good if I decide to light this box. I haven't at this time decided, but I'm leaning toward lighting it. So I'll be able to run a lot of my wire through the hollow wall, which will be really great because I will probably be using fairy lights, and there's a lot of lights on those strings. I think the ones that I have 16 lights on them, and that's just too many lights for what I want in this room. So they will run through and behind the wall, and hopefully if I get my spackling or whatever I use on good, they won't show through. They can also be taped or painted black too, so they don't show through. And I think that'd be okay to do also. So I'm just carrying on, putting in my supports, putting in my pins to hold those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if the recorder is picking up Mr. Mew purring. He's not purring overly loud, but it has a pretty sensitive mic on this computer. And he is just laying here just purring away. He's getting petted. He's doing a good job being my project manager. So now I'm just doing the same thing on the other side, trying to line it up with that one I put by the window. And I was pretty proud of myself. I got them lined up pretty good. Usually I'm off. Not that they're going to show it, just, I don't know, it's just one of those things like, oh, I got it lined up. Right, mister? Yeah. Oh, he's just loving all the pets and the one-on-one time we're having here. I wish you could see him. He's so cute. Yeah, it's a cute little guy. If you don't want to watch the whole video, you can skip ahead, you know. You don't have to watch this whole long, lengthy process. But this is why I don't do a lot of tutorials. Don't like to unless it's something simple, because I make it up as I go a lot of times. And this part I had planned out, you know, that's in my head, that's the way I want it to go. And so I'm just, you know, acting on that right now. But in a little while there will be some changes coming up that I didn't plan on, and I'll point those out as we go. So now I've just put that one in the side, and I will be pinning it, and then we'll move on to the next part of this. I was trying to stay up last night. I volunteered to give up my day shift on Saturday and Sunday to do the overnight at the house I was at. And believe me, I didn't want to, but they're very short-staffed. I think the last full-time overnight they had over there quit, so they have no one now to do the overnights, and the team leader over at that house really needs some help with this because she's been working it. She's been working a lot of hours, so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it once anyway. I don't want this to become a habit. This is You know, they had another full-time one hired and she quit. It's kind of been the story of the last 5. They've just quit. And I think 3 of them have been before they even started. So, I mean, I guarantee you what I do is not a job for everyone. But to not give it a chance, to not see if you're going to like it, you know, that's, I don't know, in a way it just seems kind of unfair because I didn't think I would ever want to do what I do. And now I absolutely love what I do. I don't always love everything that goes along with it, but I do love what I do. And yeah, I never thought I could do it either. I was like, nope, 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 nope. And once I did, I pretty much knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my working career. So here I'm just putting the bottom on now, and it just, I'm going to put all the glue on that I need right now, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm just gluing. I bought a new bottle of tacky glue, and oh my gosh, with this project, and this is the only project I've used it on so far, with this project I've already used quite a bit. So yeah, but it's nice to have the new bottle because no more struggling with the old bottle. I used it up gluing the wall pieces together where I doubled them. And there's still a little left in that old bottle, and I'll probably use it up when I'm doing something like that also. But it's really nice to have the new bottle, especially for this. Oh, Mr. Mew's licking me. I'm sorry I keep telling you what Mr. Mew's doing, but he's so sweet and he's so cute. That's one of them cuddly, lovey kitties. I'm just making sure I get this really lined up good and even. I don't want to get it all wonky and not have it fit right. So I'm putting pins in here, and yes, I'm putting them on the front of my wall, but since I'm using spackle, they're not going to show. And I try to push them in far enough that the heads, these have flat heads on them, and try to push them in far enough that the heads don't stick up. They get a little bit into the glue when they're going through the foam board, so that kind of helps to hold everything too. And this is a time-consuming process, putting in the pins, but it really helps hold it all together and hold it straight so you don't have anything moving on you. Helps make everything more squared up too. I was thinking about putting some background music in here, but you know what? I really don't. I've never done it with my videos, so that'll be something for me to work on. So there, I'm just checking it, holding it up, making sure I got everything, and now I'm just showing you how the progress is going on this part. And I'm really pleased with it because it's turning out exactly like I wanted it to look. Okay, so now we're back, and I decided that, well, I need to put the end piece on, let's put it that way, and then I will be making a decision. That will change, it'll change kind of the plans I had in my head, but I really like the idea, so I'm going to go with that. I'm just pinning this one in place also, just to make sure it's squared up and even and make sure it holds. If you hear any noise in the background, I don't know if it's picking it up, but someone's mowing out there. It's been really, really hot here. We had a really cool thunderstorm the other day. There was actually thunder. I love storms. I don't like the damage they do and that, but I really love storms, and I love the thunder most of all. And I actually got to hear some the other day, because lately when we've had storms, we haven't had much thunder. And, well, I got to hear it, so I was really, really happy about that. And now I'm just gluing in the piece on the other side. Stop right now. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Mr. Mew, a little while back, hurt his back, and sometimes he does some things that he probably shouldn't do. So you're going to have to go out right now if you're going to do that. He's kind of doing his thing, but not exactly. And I think sometimes he just gets a little pain, and so he reacts to it. But he is getting a lot better. He's doing much, much better now. So that's we're very pleased with that. So I'm still just sticking pins in. I hope you can kind of see what the whole window looks like. I know I've got the tape on the other side, and this is kind of what the inside window is going to look like. I left the outside frame black, and the inside I painted with, I don't think I told you, I painted with a dark turquoise, and then I mixed some black with it, because I really like the look of the paint color when I was done with it. And so yeah, but that's kind of what the whole window looks like. It's what you see there. And the outside of this will be covered, so nothing will show there either. So I am I'm looking it over, and I'm pretty happy with what I've got there, and I'm just using this piece just to see about how big I'm going to need, because at this point I was getting low on foam board, and so I was just kind of trying to get an idea there of what I would need. And just holding it up again so you can see. Now I believe I'm going to be gluing the top part on, and this is where the mistake comes in, and you'll see it in a minute how it, what I was talking about. So also on this piece I put across the top, I cut an arch type top in it, you know, thinking this was going to be like a little built-in shelves bookcase. I thought that would be cute. That does get changed too. I go back to just a straight piece because, yeah, the mistake, and then I decided I just didn't really like that, and I thought about getting the joint compound of the spackle up there and rounding it out, and I was like, you know what, I just don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm gluing that in right now, and like I said, you'll see in a minute where I made my mistake. Now this part over here, this is all fine and good. It's all lined up. Everything's good. I'm just making sure it's all lined up. And here come the pins. Oh, excuse me, I'm sleepy. Which is good because I need to sleep later. So now I'm just moving it down to line it up with the top of the window where I put that piece in. The piece that caused all the trouble. And my not paying attention. So yeah, so I'm just putting my pins in, not really paying attention. And amazingly, when I did this, I did hit all those little supports I had up there. So yeah, it was Just lining it up. Just going along, doing my thing. Not really paying much attention. But if you look to the left side up there where I'm putting this piece in, you'll see it doesn't match up. It's about 1/8 of an inch off, and I haven't noticed it yet at this time, but I do soon. I notice it, and I can't figure it out for the life of me what I did wrong. And I mean, I really didn't catch it till I was rewatching the video just to see how it went when I was about ready to run it through the editor so I could, you know, export it into the right format and all that stuff. I don't change anything I do in my videos with the editor. I just run it through to get it in the right format and all that, and then if I have to do a voiceover like I'm doing now, I go ahead and do that, and then you guys get to see the finished product for better or for worse. So yeah, I'm looking at it right now because I'm like, why am I off? And I'm just like, I don't get it. But you know, with the window being recessed back in, it's harder to tell really that, you know, that you are crooked. And I had the tape over the edge of the window, so that didn't really help a whole lot in the that didn't help a lot in getting it lined up either, because I had thought I did. I really did. And so I just keep going. I realize that there's a little problem, but I'm like, well, you know, I can take care of that later on. And so I'm still just going along, and I'm still looking at it. I'm still like, what is wrong with this thing? But it doesn't stop me. I just keep going. I'm going to put this piece in now. And I cut it a little short. I'll admit it. That was my mistake. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to recut because, like I said, I was getting low on the foam board I was using. And then I had this idea. Okay, so it's not going to be a big deal because if I want to run lighting, I can run it right up that corner in the back there and no one's ever going to notice. So I'm like, okay with this. And I've got my pieces in there that go across. And I'm just putting some glue on the side of the mistake up there. Well, I haven't got them in yet, but I'm getting them in. And okay, so I had to stop because I'd realized I hadn't cut them exactly straight, and I wasn't gonna make you go through that watching me cut those. You know, I had them too long, and so I had to take just a little bit off so that it would lay nice and even. And so that's what I did. I'm just getting the glue on that one and getting ready to put it in. And I just put a couple supports in on this side because it'll be fine. Especially with using the pins, it will be fine. I'm like, nope, we gotta cut a piece off the end. Which is, I think this one I actually, well, this one I had it cut a little crooked. And I also think I cut one off the end, but I can't really remember. And of course it stuck to the ruler because there was glue on there. And then I peeled the piece off because I didn't cut the piece all the way through. And so I'm putting it on, but no, I still am not straight on my cut, so I'm looking at it to see which side it is, and it's that side. I still had a bump on it that needed to come off. So I'm just trying to line the ruler up here and just cutting it off. And again, it stuck to the ruler. I should know that, right? It's got glue on it. But it stuck to the ruler, so I peeled it off again. And at least your ruler doesn't move, I'll say that. You know, that's something. The ruler doesn't move. So now I'm just trying to get it halfway straight in there. And again, I'm going to be putting some pins in. I'm going to put them in on the side. just to hold them. Make sure they stay. And, yeah. And that was where I was like, I don't know what I was doing. It was getting really late. I finished this video up about 3:30 this morning, and it was getting late, and I was like, oh, I can't put it in that side, but yes I can, because there's going to be the spackler joint compound. You'll never see the pin. But I was getting rather tired at that time, and I think I went to bed right around 4 or just a little bit after this. So yeah. So now I'm just applying the glue down that side and across those pieces. There's a lawnmower out there running. I apologize if this thing's picking it up. So now I'm just lining my edge up over there and just trying to get it really good and straight. And once this piece is in, you can really see my mistake up there. I think you can see it now. The end piece I just put on sticks up farther than the piece next to it going across. So yeah, I think it's pretty visible now. And oh my gosh. How well you live and learn, right? That's what they say. So now I'm just pinning this down also, because I just want everything to stay, and I want it to be really straight, because I don't want to have to go put this wall in or put the box together and then have it be, you know, really wonky and that. So, and that piece is still bothering me. I guarantee you I'm still sitting there going, what in the world? And there I was just lifting it up to kind of peek and see where those cross pieces were, because since that end is not really glued to anything on the one side, I want to make sure that it's gonna, you know, stay put where it's supposed to be. And then I'll have that little channel back there at the end of the wall where I can run my lights if I want. So that's it. As I said, I do fix that top piece once I discover it. I also discovered that I cut those balls a little too short. When I was trying just dry fitting it on the base, I realized that those walls were too long. So I cut them off, and I cut just a little bit too much off, and so I had to build up the one side also. But you'll see all that, and that's where I had the problem with the really bad piece of foam core. So I'm putting this in like a shelf over here, because I thought, oh, that'd be so cute for little shelves, and it will. But after I went to all the trouble of cutting it the right size, then I was like, well, how big do I want these shelves? And so I'm measuring, and I'm going to make a couple marks along the edge. You'll see that here. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm deciding, okay, I think I want it about that big. And so I mark it on that side. And then I go over and I mark it on the other side. Go to all this trouble just to not do it. Because I decided I wanted wooden shelves. Anyway, this is pretty much going to wrap up the video, and this will be the end of it. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll be back next week with part 4. And I believe at that point, we'll be putting the box together and maybe doing the floor. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a great weekend. Bye-bye.